Hey, what's going on? This is Mark from Freak Finder Fishing. We're up here once again in New Hampshire, sticking to the same pattern that we've been fishing for the past 2-3 weeks. Like we mentioned last week, targeting some deep water structure, offshore, and open water. Talked a lot about drop shot last week, and while that's a really great presentation to fish open water, especially deep structure, a nice complement to the drop shot is to throw an open water jig. Whether it's a swim jig, or I don't like to fish a football jig around rocks, but any type of jig that you're comfortable with doesn't get hung up too often. I like to throw Darren's jigs from LTD baits. I've been throwing watermelon candy and black and blue. Also, their crazy croc color is really cool. I've been hooking up with a lot of really nice fish. Both Mike and I, we've caught a lot of fish on drop shots today, but we were really looking for that extra pound and a half, and we were fortunate enough to get that extra 2-3 pounds today by fishing either a big jig or a really large Texas rig craw. Certainly, when you're fishing open water, when you find some nice boulders down deep, don't rule out a jig. It's an awesome way to fish. I fish my open water jig rod. I got a few jig rods that I fish shoreline with, but this is my open water jig rod. It's a g.loomis GL2. I really like these rods. They're it's a high-end rod for a for a reasonable price. It's not gonna kill your bank account. It's a 7-foot heavy action. I have it paired with a Shimano Chronarch 7:1 gear ratio. I fish 15-pound fluorocarbon here, and I really can't say enough about this setup. It's probably my favorite rod in my box. This is the watermelon candy LTD baits jig with a Chompers watermelon candy trailer. We'll be catching some really nice fish on it. So as you can see, the open water jig can be pretty effective. We caught a lot of 3s and 4s on our drop shots today, both largemouth and smallmouth actually. But once we really started to get dialed in and figured out the areas that we were fishing, this fish is about 6 and this is about 4.5. These are a couple really nice largemouth. This is one of the biggest fish I caught all season, and right on LTD Baits Jigs. If you haven't checked them out on Facebook, definitely give them a look. Small company out of Massachusetts. They make some really nice products. Aside from that, certainly don't rule out jigs for fishing open water. It's a nice alternative to drop shot fishing. If I have a drop shot on my deck and I'm fishing it, I always have an open water jig tied on for sure. Anyway, tight lines, keep fishing.